I got an email today about how to wire up a CarPlay device, the CarPlay. That's the brand that I'm using for this. And but the email is about a different brand, but almost identical like device. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they are the same device, just branded differently. But it doesn't matter if it's a CarPlay. It doesn't matter if it's a Alien Rider or whatever it was that they said that they had. GPS units, CarPlay units, Android Auto, they all wire up the exact same way to the LiveWire. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the LiveWire 1, the S2 bikes. It's the general principle is going to be the same for how you wire this up to the bike. Now, the location of the 12-volt port, parts and accessory port may be different, but again, the principle is the exact same. So, wiring up a GPS unit to the LiveWire 1. Most components, if not all, electronic components, GPS units, CarPlay units, all that stuff, it's all, for the most part, those come from factories meant to be hooked up directly to a 12-volt battery. With LiveWire bikes, you do not hook it up to, what's going on, Raymond Hawkins? You do not hook it up to up to the 12-volt battery. If you do that, it's going to kill it's not going to kill the bike, but it'll kill the 12-volt battery on the bike. If you're going to use the LiveWire, use this on a LiveWire bike. You want to hook it up to the parts and accessories port that is on the bike. Every single LiveWire comes with them. I'll show you kind of where it is here on the LiveWire 1. My S2, it's currently in the shop, so I can't show you where that is. But for the S2 models, they're all under the seat, typically directly behind the 12-volt battery. So on the LiveWire 1, the PNA port is, so this is the side of the bike. I've got the take fairing and stuff taken off so that I can show you the wiring. But the PNA port is located directly underneath here. This is where mine is at. I've pulled it out of the housing. The PNA port, which is it's a female Molex connector, so the female version of this. It is plugged into just an end cap, like a holder, and all you do is pull that little female part out, this part right here, okay? Don't worry, I get questions a lot about, okay, what about the connector that I'm pulling this from? Again, it's just a plastic end cap. It's not wired up to anything. It's just to hold the female end component. So you pull that part out, and again, that's the same procedure for on the S2 bikes. The PNA port, it's held in place by a little plastic cap. You just pull that out, and don't worry about what it's going to go to. Again, it's just a holding cap, so don't worry about what you're unplugging it from. So Raymond, I am currently reviewing the CarPlay. It's not a GPS. It's a CarPlay unit. I can't remember the model number, but it's one of the, I don't want to say the generic ones, but they're all pretty much the same. There may be a few like built-in features that it doesn't have or accessories that it doesn't have. But so it doesn't matter what brand it is, how you're going to wire this, it's the exact same. So the question in the email was, do you need to buy the 12-volt cable that I make and sell? I make and sell these for LiveWire motorcycles. They're compatible with all LiveWire bikes. The answer is no, you don't have to. This just makes attaching accessories easier, and it kind of takes out most of the work, with the exception of the GPS units. So when the GPS unit comes to you, like I said, it's going to come with leads for a 12-volt battery. Don't connect those to the 12-volt battery directly. You're going to cut those leads off. It's going to come with a fuse, an inline fuse, a 5-amp inline fuse. You want to cut it behind that fuse, so get rid of the fuse, okay? Because unless you're wiring this up on your own, then you want to leave that fuse in. My cables come with a 10-amp fuse built in. The bikes can only take, or the accessories can only pull 10 amps. Anything more than that, it's bad for the bike, so that's why I have a 10-amp fuse. So you don't have to worry about it with my cables. So you're going to want to cut those off, and what you're going to have left with, I'm just trying to show you the colors because I threw mine away. You're going to have a red and a black cable. And with that red and black cable, you're going to want to connect it to, let's say that you're buying my cable, okay? They're available on my website. This plugs into the bike, this end plugs into the bike, and this is what you're left with. Okay, so you're gonna have to either cut the end of this cable off. I don't recommend that you do that. Order an SAE to SA or SAE to like open end cable or something like that, or like bare end cable. What you're gonna get from eBay or Amazon is an SE cable like this, and then just the wires on the end are exposed. They're not hooked up to anything. You take that, you hook up the corresponding cables to one another, duct tape it. I'm a huge fan of heat shrink. Okay, it's really inexpensive from like Lowe's and stuff. You just put it on the exposed portions, take a lighter, kind of wave it on, and the tubing will shrink over that connection. It'll make it waterproof, and it'll make it really hard to come undone. And then with my cables, I include polarity reverse adapters. Sorry. I include a polarity reverse adapter because some units, they're wired with reverse polarity. So this is included in the cables that I make. So if you plug everything in to this and it doesn't work, you just attach the polarity reverse adapter like this, plug it into the GPS unit. And I'll show you my setup here in a second. Just want to go over the explanation. Okay. So this lead is going to the GPS unit. This lead is going to the P&A port on the bike. That's how you wire it up. Now, it is a switched power source, so that means that if the bike is not turned on, it doesn't draw any power. So you turn the bike on. This is just demonstration. Let me plug this. Plug mine back in. So, in my 12-volt batteries, got a warning, I've got to charge my 12-volt battery. All right, so copyright comes on as soon as I flip the bike on. My 12-volt. I took the bike out today. It's like super freezing cold because I took it out in the cold today. But, okay, here's how I have this hooked up to the bike. So this is the lead coming off the bike. So that's my 10-amp fuse. This goes all the way down to the P&A port. Now, I left this GPS cable like really long because I wanted to be able to swap the units back and forth between all my bikes. So I just wanted to have some extra runway to, yeah, I just didn't want to cut it too short. But if you only have one bike, you can trim it shorter. And so, yeah, it's running through. All right, so red to red, but again, this particular unit has reverse polarity, and then it just runs all the way through. Whenever I had the tank, this is all tanked or tucked up underneath, and then I just have it going through. Little piece of Velcro strap to hold the power cable in place, and that's the power cable right there. This is for like a little handle accessory that I don't really want or need. So that is how you wire any GPS unit up to the bike. Very, very simple. I know that some people are very nervous about doing this. It's really not complicated. Don't worry. Even if you cross the wires up, you're not going to break anything. The bike has safety systems built in. You're not going to catch the bike on fire or anything like that. So that is pretty much going to be it for this live demonstration. If there are any questions about, okay, clearly there's some AI bots or something going in there in the chat. If there's no questions about how to do this, I will depart you all. Man, there's some weird people in the chats right now. Okay, well, weird people in the chat, so I'm going to end that. Hopefully this helps. I think Andy was your name. You're the person that sent me the email. Andy, hope this helps. Hope it clarifies things. Would you do the Aochi CarPlay? Is it Aochi? Is that a brand, Raymond? I think, yeah, that sounds familiar. I think that is a brand, isn't it? I had the copyright because they got in touch with me asking if I would be willing to try out a unit to do a review. I said, sure. Not something that I'm going to use all the time, and it's mainly because it doesn't have GPS functionality. It's navigation's purely based off of whatever service my phone has. So the places that I like to go and ride, typically not a whole lot of cell service. So that is the only reason why I would say that. Not that I wouldn't use it, but it's not going to benefit me from where I'm going to be at. I mean, yeah, if that company wants me to check out their unit, I would be happy to. But this CarPlay unit, you know, I wouldn't say that it's like the best thing since like sliced bread. It's not going to replace my Garmin, but again, that's because it has GPS functionality. And I do think that CarPlay does have a unit that has built-in GPS, but I just figured that I would take what would most likely be beneficial for most people that are in my audience, which people tend to just ride on the streets and stuff. Aochi uses GPS and CarPlay. That sounds really like a good combo. Maybe I'll send them an email and see if they want me to try out a unit. Because I am really happy with my Garmin, but I understand that I would say that the Garmin is a niche thing, but it's not as streamlined as using CarPlay. There's a little bit more technical work that you've got to do to it. All right, well, that's it. I've got to get my 12-volt battery on the tender because the cold weather here is killing it. Thanks for everybody that showed up. Raymond, hope you have a good week. Weird people in the chat, but hope you don't come back.